Let's cut to the chase, have an honest conversation, and develop real answers. As a matter of fact, with Andrew Cuomo. Welcome back to As a Matter of Fact. I'm Andrew Cuomo, and we're talking about the horrific situation in Israel. Joining me now to talk about it is former NBA player Enes Kanter Freedom. From 2011 to 2022, he played for 5 different NBA teams, including the New York Knicks, where I love to root for him, and the Boston Celtics, where I did not root for him. Enes, who is Muslim and grew up in Turkey, has become outspoken about human rights violations in Turkey and other parts of the world. In 2022, Kanter Freedom blasted China for human rights abuses, and shortly thereafter was let go by his team, the Portland Trail Blazers. He believes his departure was directly tied to speaking out against the country that is an important source of revenue for the NBA. That same year, Kanter Freedom visited Israel to lead interfaith basketball camps across the country for Palestinian and Israeli children. His goal was to use his platform and his sport to encourage coexistence. So, Enes, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining us today during these truly horrible circumstances and watching what's going on with Israel. What goes through your mind when you are watching the images on the screen and the horror that we're all living through?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me. I will just start with, as a Muslim, I strongly condemn any attack against innocent civilians' life on both sides. I mean, some of these images or scenes that are coming out of Middle East is heartbreaking. You can't even watch it. But what breaks my heart is at the end is the civilians, innocent civilians are the one that pay the price. So, I mean, I am praying for my Jewish brothers and sisters around the world because many of them now have family members, brothers, sisters, moms and dads in Israel, and they've been attacked and they've been gone. They have no idea. They haven't heard from them for days and stuff. So my heart definitely goes up for them.
One of the remarkable things to me is, and I think you have an insight that you could share with us, these acts are so horrific. The level of hate, raping, killing children. You spent time working with young Palestinians, young Israelis. I've spent time in Palestine and in Israel. This is not political. This is almost a cultural disdain. This is a social phenomenon of hate, unlike anything that we've seen in our generation. Where does it come from? Where does it breed that it gets so vile?
I'm going to start with no arm of destruction has ever resolved any decades of conflict. So the conflict between Israel and Palestine going on for years and years and years, and look where we are right now. Innocent people on the streets are getting bombed, and when I had my basketball camp in Jerusalem, I sit down and had a conversation with some of these kids out there, and they said, "We don't care what our government says. We love each other." They sit down and play basketball together, and that touched my heart so much. I put them on the same team, and they were passing to each other. They were learning from each other. They were just having fun with each other, and now as the governments are the one that making the decision, and the innocent people, innocent kids and women, civilians on the street that are getting bombed. So it just breaks my heart to see what's going on. I mean, I try to do, as a Muslim, I literally try to do my best to literally go every synagogue, every temple, and every mosque to just say, listen, at the end, we are all human, regardless of your religion, regardless of your beliefs or your color or whatever you believe in, we are all human first. Yeah. But unfortunately, this conflict, I think, looks like it's going to go on and on.
You know, people say, well, Muslims versus Israelis. Yeah, but this has nothing to do with being Muslim, right? This has nothing to do with believing in Islam, because Islam doesn't teach this. It doesn't breed hate. It doesn't breed killing of innocent civilians. It's the exact opposite. So you can't justify this in the name of religion. And I think that distinction is very important to make.
There's actually a verse in Quran, in our holy book of Quran. It says, if you kill one person, it's equal to killing whole humanity. And if you save one person, it's equal to save whole humanity. So definitely not. This is definitely not religion. But what breaks my heart is some of these governments out there using religion to brainwash people. And these governments are saying that, well, whatever you're doing for the name of God. You know, so go out there, kill, destroy this. And unfortunately, those uneducated base are believing their governments. And they're saying, wow, let's go out there, let's kill, let's destroy. And they think they're doing it for the name of God, but no. That's why in education in Middle East are so important. When I was growing up, I remember, if you are a politician in Turkey and if you want to be elected again, you do two things. You attack America, you attack Israel. The base is so uneducated. They're like, wow, look at our leader. He's standing tall against America. He's standing tall against Israel, so let's vote for him. When I was growing up, my little friends literally were burning Israeli flags and American flags because of the propaganda of these governments. They handed me a flag to burn it. And I was like, this is not the right way to do. I ran upstairs to my mom. I was like, Mom, my friends are telling me to hate America, telling me to hate Americans, Jewish people, Israel. What do I do? My mom is like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but do not hate anyone before you meet them. So when I come to America, I start meeting with Americans. I start meeting with Jewish people, Israeli people, right? And I'm like, they're like one of the best people. Now they treat me better than my own country, who literally wants me dead, you know? So no, this has nothing to do with the religion, but they are using religion to brainwash people. Many schools in the Middle East, front of classes, they have American and Israeli flags. And if you're a little kid, if you don't step on these flags, you're not allowed to attend the classes. Think about it, you know? These are little kids. So the hate is they're starting to learn to hate at a very young age by stepping on those flags, by burning flags, by listening propaganda in rallies and stuff, you know? So that's why I was lucky enough to just came to America when I was a teenager, and I was like, I learned about what's happening.
Turkey, the leadership of Turkey seems to be walking a fine line diplomatically in what they say about the posture of Turkey. But I believe it's conventionally known that Turkey has been aiding Hamas all along, or Hamas and Hezbollah. What do you think about that?
Exactly 73 days ago, Turkish leader met with the President Erdogan. I call him a dictator, Erdogan. Met with the leader of Hamas in Turkey at his house. Organizations like Hamas, Hezbollah, even ISIS gets huge support from countries like Turkey, countries like Iran, especially these two countries. And, you know, these terrorist organizations are safe haven for these groups. They raise so much money, and they get, I believe there was one report, it was saying that they get Turkish passports. So they go in and out of countries freely. I believe another report that I have seen that Israeli customs authorities seize a raw material used in to make rockets that originated in Turkey. So I'm just very confused that how can like the world see that? And we are talking about a NATO ally. I'm sure you follow very closely about what's happening in Sweden. I'm sure you are, following very closely about how he's helping Ukraine, but same time he's going out there shaking hands with guys like Putin, guys like Khamenei. So the world needs to wake up. Enough is enough.
What does it do for Erdogan in Turkey to support Hamas? What's the political benefit for him?
So, I mean, you can ask every Muslim actually in America and around the world. He wants to be the leader of the Muslim world. He wants to be like the Khalifa. He wants to bring back the Ottoman Empire, and he wants to be the leader of it. The hypocrisy side of it is Turkish government and actually Erdogan kills innocent Kurdish people, and they're Muslim every week, and no one talks about it. But when it comes to countries like Palestine, Erdogan is the first one to go out there and say we should support Palestine and this and that. If you really cared about Muslims, you wouldn't be bombing, you wouldn't be killing Kurdish Muslims. Every week you ask any Kurdish people, they're dying because of Erdogan. So he wants to be the leader of the Muslim world. So he has an agenda, and he knows if he really cared about Muslims, he would he will be talking about the Uyghurs in China. There's literally genocide happening while we are talking. 2 to 3 million Muslims are in concentration camp getting tortured and raped every day. But look at Erdogan, he has not said a word about it. So just because of the agenda he has, he is supporting Hamas and some of the other terrorist organizations.
What will someone like Erdogan do over these next coming days? Let's say Israel, which has a precarious situation because of the hostages. But let's say Israel gets very aggressive going into Gaza, and Israel takes the position that this is it, we're going to wipe out Hamas once and for all, and there is a protracted effort to do that and a ground war to do that. What does an Erdogan do if that happens?
Well, I believe he does not want to piss off the West, but at the same time, he wants to support terrorism. So I believe he will send weapons, which he did in the past. And I believe some of the reports like Washington Post cut Erdogan sending weapons to ISIS. It's on the news. You can go ahead and watch it. But I believe he will be sending weapons and a lot of money to some of these terrorist groups out there.
Can Hamas ever be eliminated if it is cultural, if it is being taught in classrooms, if it's being socialized to children at such a young age?
Yeah.
How do you end Hamas? It's not a person, it's not a group of leaders. One set of leaders are done away with. There'll be another set of leaders because it's coming from below, right? This is a bottom-up movement. Yeah. So how does it ever really end?
So what I will say is, people need to understand. We need to. Not every Palestinian is an enemy. Not every Palestinian is Hamas. So we definitely need to separate that, because now some people will think that, well, the whole Palestine is the issue. It's not. It's literally the Hamas. So once we take care of Hamas, I believe I'm just trying to think, because like some of these countries out there is just, they do not want educated people. So it needs to start from the bottom, and we need to start educating people. But I feel like once once we get rid of Hamas, I mean, you have so many, you have Hezbollah, you have ISIS, you have Al-Qaeda. So that region is a big problem. And I'm just trying to think, I mean, you got to start somehow. You got to start somewhere. So I think, getting rid of Hamas, it's not going to solve the whole problem, but I believe it's a start.
Yeah. Last question for you. I admire your basketball ability, and I loved watching you as a player, but I admired more your courage in speaking out on human rights, what you said about China, at your own personal cost. Where did that interest, where did that passion come from?
I think from my family and from my mother. So, and I gave a promise to my mother. I was like, whatever happens in life, I will always stand for the truth, even if it means sacrificing everything, So I grew up in a country where it was pretty much a dictatorship. Or coming to America, learning from true Americans, true patriots, what freedom is, what democracy is. And it breaks my heart because there are millions of kids in Middle East growing up anti-Semitic, anti-West, anti-American because of those politicians, So I was like, we gotta change that. So I think it comes from my faith, because my faith is telling me that it doesn't matter what your background is, your religion, your color, whoever you are. We need to leave our differences on the table and try and find what we have in common, because we only have one world to live. So we need to make this world better together. So it definitely comes from my faith, from my family, which I haven't seen 10 years because of Erdogan. But like I said again, man, we got to start somewhere. I know that organizing basketball camp in the Middle East is not going to change, not going to solve any conflict, but it's a start. I know I'm not going to, inspire millions of kids by organizing one basketball camp, but it's a start. At least, I'm trying to do best I can. So I just hope that God can give a platform to good people so they can inspire others around them.
Well, you took your skill, you took your ability, you took your achievement, and you shared it with others, and you used it to do good things, which is what the Quran teaches us. It's what Christianity teaches us. It's what Judaism teaches us. Every religion basically has the same fundamental philosophy. The difference is you did it. You did it. And if everyone had the courage and bravery and commitment that you showed, the world would be a better place. So thank you so much for being with us today. God bless you for what you do, and don't stop.
Thank you, Governor. Appreciate that.
Thank you.